psychological safety is so important for performance because you need to feel safe that you can come with new ideas, try new things, and that's where you get your energy and your motivation. Now, what is happening in this crisis is that psychological safety is under threat because people don't know what the future will bring. They hear a lot about job cuts, salary cuts, being uncertain about the future of their company, the future of their own careers. And so suddenly people become very cautious in what they do and what they say at work. Also, most of the people now are working at home or working in very exceptional circumstances, and that doesn't make it easy to check informally with people if everything is okay, if what they're doing is okay. And so they don't have a lot of information about how they're currently seen in the work environment because they're a bit isolated and they're uncertain about the future, and so they don't feel psychologically safe anymore, and that creates a lot of stress actually for people. A lot of organizations mean well, and so they will communicate about the turbulent environment, they will communicate about a difficult financial situation, but in doing so they actually are undermining people's psychological safety. I see managers, leaders saying, we're listening to you and we're listening very carefully, but people don't want to hear that you're listening, they want to see that you're listening. They want to see in your behavior, in your decisions and your actions that you're actually listening. Everything that was more based on an informal understanding and goodwill risks being undermined now. And actually, in a crisis, a lot of companies are counting on the goodwill of their employees. So what you want to do as a leader is you need to open up communication channels, explaining, look, we'll do everything we can to make sure that you thrive in your job, that your job is still here. We can't predict that, but for the moment, we will give you all information that we have ourselves, and feel free to reach out to us to how you're doing, how you're experiencing, and how we can support you in currently doing your job as well as possible. And then you need to capture what you've heard, bring that back to the people and say, look, this is what you're telling me, I've listened to this, I've reflected on it, and this is what I'm going to do. And that will instill a sense of trust when they see that you're actually changing your decisions on the basis of what you've heard from them. Listening is an important one, but also be very open and honest about this being an exceptional situation. So let's say that, for instance, you had some sort of an informal agreement with an employee about working hours or maybe a training or a program that person would follow, and that is no longer possible. You need to acknowledge the previous sort of promises that were made, and you also need to make very clear that a new negotiation will happen in the future where everything that has happened will be taken into account. A lot of people are a bit distrustful about a lot of things are happening. Will you remember in 6 months or in a year how much effort I put in here, how risky everything that we did here was? Will you remember this? And so as leadership, you need to sort of acknowledge that we know that is exceptional, but we won't forget this. And that will instill a new sense of trust. People will be accepted that some of the agreements will have to stop here and will need to be renegotiated at a later point of time. But you need to be honest and open about this.